Okay, I'm not a psychologist, but I think I should have been one. I think the mistake we make when we think about administrators and how they respond to certain stimuli and what their motivations are, and I know, Bob, we've talked about this before, is that we expect them to behave in the same way that we would, in a logical way, based upon what's good for the students, but I think that's our mistake. I think, by and large, they're sociopaths. And it may sound funny, but if you actually see the psychology person agreeing with me. So, that's deflecting. They're sociopaths. and Yao can collect the data on this. There's two people right here. But anyway, these people spend their whole time, all their effort, which they do make considerable effort, and not becoming a better teacher, not becoming a better researcher, but becoming our bosses. And the problem with that is the encouragement is the salaries. And then they get into this club at a certain level. You get into this club, and they all protect themselves. I remember I was on the All-Campus Council of Faculty Senate Chairs when administration brought this concept to us. Oh, well, we should be able to give instant tenure to faculty who already have tenure at another campus, and they would come to our campus, and you know, they already have a proven track record. And we're like, oh, that sounds great. But you know what the ramifications were? Instant tenure to their administrators.
Yeah.
I mean, this is sociopathic behavior. They're acting not on the basis of what is good for the university, what is good for the students, but what is good for their career and how to get into this club and maintain this club. So I think we just need to think of it as that's really the way they are, and don't expect them to act in a, you know, respond in a logical way like we would. They're not us. So.
Well, I think I totally agree with you, Harry. I think that's one of the problems with these career administrators. In one of my many flights back and forth between Maui and Honolulu, I was once seated next to a woman retired from the DOE, and she was telling me how she used to be a vice principal, and that, you know, early on in her career, you know, she was a teacher, and then she realized that she felt like she could help her students out at the entire school level as being a vice principal, so she was offered the position and she took it. And after being in that position for, I think she said, about 5 years, she felt like she was out of touch with her students. So she actually asked to be put back in the classroom, and they looked at her like she was crazy because she was going to be getting a pay cut. And she's like, no, but I don't know the students anymore. I don't understand what they need. So she went back in the classroom for several years, and then when she felt like she was in touch again, went back up to administration. And I was listening to this woman talk, and I'm thinking, this is the kind of administrator we need. This is someone who understands that it's the whole point of the educational system is the student getting further along. And it just, I think we would do a lot better if we had administrators who really did come from the faculty, like it used to happen, and not ones that move up there and stay there, but move up and do what they can, and then when they don't feel like they are being helpful anymore, recognize that and go back to teaching so they can, you know, get back in touch with the students again. And I mean, I listen to her, I'm thinking, I wish you were still vice principal so I could put my daughter at your school, because it sounds like you know what you're doing. And I don't think that's true across most of the DOE or actually for most of UH either.
Well, and the student population has changed. I know our administrators at KCC, most of them have taught 30 years ago, 35 years ago. They taught for a few years before they went into administration. But you know, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and students have changed. You know, the expectation of students, the preparation that students bring to the classroom. So, you know, if you're sort of basing your teaching experience and relying on it, as some administrators have, from 30 years ago, you've completely lost touch with what's going on in the classroom today.